A cold wind swept across the battlefield as dawn broke over the horizon. Two guardians stood resolute atop the ancient stone towers, their watchful eyes scanning the valley below. The kingdom depended on them, not for the might of their power, but for their unyielding presence and strategic precision. These were the Rooks, the steadfast sentinels of the realm, whose strength could turn the tide of any siege. Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. If you enjoy playing chess, consider subscribing to our channel. Also, comment down your thoughts about our video or any chess tips you may have for beginners. On a chessboard, the rook is no less majestic and critical. A piece that starts quietly in the corners, often overlooked in the initial chaos, only to rise in prominence as the game unfolds. Its power lies not in its flash, but in its purpose. Its role is to fortify, to strike, to dominate. Yet, like the castle's guardians, its success depends on patience, positioning, and partnership. The rook's introduction: simplicity and power. In chess, every piece tells a story. The pawn, a tale of ambition. The queen, a saga of unparalleled power. The rook's story, a testament to quiet strength and decisive action. It moves horizontally and vertically, unbound by distance, but constrained to the straight path. In its simplicity lies its might. Many underestimate the rook early in the game, seeing it as a back row piece that merely supports the stars, the queen and knights. But the rook is a patient sentinel, waiting for the board to open, for the chaos to subside, and for the moment to command the battlefield. It teaches us that strength does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits. Why focus on the rook? Why devote an entire script to this unassuming piece? Because the rook, like life, is a paradox. It begins in stillness but thrives in motion. It appears limited but wields limitless potential. To understand the rook is to understand the balance of offense and defense, the value of structure, and the art of timing. This script will not merely teach you how to use the rook effectively in a chess game. It will delve deeper. Through its story, we will explore human psychology, draw parallels to our daily lives, and reflect on lessons of patience, collaboration, and resilience. The metaphor of the rook. Imagine life as a chessboard. The pieces are the roles we play, the decisions we make, the relationships we nurture, the obstacles we face. The rook is the friend who seems quiet, but steps in when you need them most. It is the mentor who watches from the sidelines, offering guidance only when the time is right. It is a project that takes time to build, but yields tremendous impact when completed. The rook's movement mirrors life's journey, straightforward yet profound. It moves through open paths, unimpeded and direct, teaching us the value of clarity. But it also demands freedom, a reminder that our potential thrives when unshackled from unnecessary constraints. Over the next several chapters, we will unravel the rook's secrets. We will explore its mechanics and strategies, unlocking its potential on the chessboard. We will dive into its psychological impact, understanding how its presence influences both players' minds. We will reflect on the rook's symbolic parallels to life, discovering lessons of teamwork, patience, and adaptability. We will journey through history and imagination, sharing tales where the rook emerged as the unsung hero. Let this be more than a guide to chess. Let it be a meditation on the importance of structure, the power of preparation, and the beauty of collaboration. For the rook is not just a chess piece, it is a philosophy. Chapter 1. The essence of the rook. Origins and design, the birth of a sentinel. Long before the modern rook stood as a fortress on the chessboard, its ancestors bore different shapes and names. In the ancient Indian game of chaturanga, the precursor to chess, the piece that would become the rook was known as the Ratha, a chariot. Its straight-line movements reflected the swift and decisive strikes of war chariots that dominated ancient battlefields. As chess evolved and spread westward, the piece transformed. The Europeans, inspired by medieval castles, began to depict the rook as a stone tower, the stalwart protector of the king. This evolution symbolizes a shift in its role, from a vehicle of aggression to a bastion of defense and strategy. The rook's castle-like design is no accident. It represents strength, stability, and the importance of structure. Its unassuming start in the corners of the board echoes the foundations of a fortress, built not for early glory, but for lasting dominance. Movement and mechanics, the rook's march. The rook moves in straight lines, horizontally and vertically, as far as the board allows. At first glance, its movement appears simple, almost limited. It doesn't possess the elegant leaps of the knight, the sweeping arcs of the bishop, or the diagonal domination of the queen. Yet, its simplicity is its greatest strength. When the board begins to clear and open files emerge, the rook transforms from a quiet bystander to a commanding general. Unimpeded by obstacles, it becomes a long-range powerhouse capable of striking deep into enemy territory. The rook's ability to traverse the entire board in a single line makes it one of the most versatile and dangerous pieces in the game. Its movement teaches us a profound lesson. Greatness often lies in simplicity. Life, like chess, rewards those who master the fundamentals. Strategic positioning, the key to power. In chess, positioning is everything, and the rook is no exception. Its true power emerges when it takes control of open files, those unobstructed columns that serve as highways for its movement. A rook on an open file is like a river carving through a valley, unstoppable and commanding. Consider the rook on the 7th rank, often regarded as one of the most powerful positions in chess. When a rook infiltrates the enemy's side and occupies this rank, it disrupts supply lines, targets pawns, and creates chaos. In this position, the rook embodies the principle of control, dictating the opponent's moves and forcing them into submission. The story of the rook's positioning mirrors a timeless truth. Success isn't just about potential, it's about being in the right place at the right time.
Night out at all. It's just a waiting game we're playing here. If I were a mind reader, I would say he might have an idea of knight A8, and that's not a misprint. He might put the knight on C7 and then put the pawn on B5. So that would be the idea behind A6, to put his knight on C7 and a pawn on B5 and fight back on the queen side. The whole time leaving this unresolved. So that could be what he had in mind, a long-term idea. But I don't think he has that kind of luxurious time. So after D3, A6, it's a long-term plan to assail me on the C4 square. So, A6. Oh, by the way, don't tell anybody about knight A8. That's a secret. People aren't supposed to know. The only thing that can be said is that his B6 knight finally got something to chew on. But at what cost? So, he wouldn't part with his good bishop. We've had the discussion of how valuable that bishop is. And now the half-bad bishop here has become fully bad. So, trading off his good bishop would be positional capitulation. As it turns out, he wanted to get rid of that knight so bad anyway. Oh well. It's not helping though. Now I start stretching out the diagonals toward the king with this move. And the threat of A7 is very powerful. He's got to weaken something. Oh, no he doesn't. He refuses to weaken his pawn structure. I thought he would weaken the cover in front of the king. He wouldn't. Not right away. He says, I'm going to fight you like this. That pawn cluster would be quite useful in defending his king. And so, if I trade, he takes back and the pawn cluster is okay. And that's when I finally decide. Frankly speaking, if he could play without this pawn, he probably would. He'd be like, I'd rather be down a pass pawn than have this blockade that's about to occur. At least he would have a useful diagonal. But after my next move, I make sure he can't even gambit a pawn. I seal the position completely. And now, except for the rather feeble B5 shot, he's not going to be going far. The weakness of F6 precludes any kingside moves. I own the kingside. And I'm thinking that I can play G4, G5 in some cases. But I'm going to be careful before I open up my king, no matter what. He is a grandmaster after all. So, after knight e4, Arjuna came up with an idea, I think, to run his king away. Like they used to do in the old days. They'd take their king and they'd run it over here and hide it over here. But it's a long run. It's a marathon. But even before he start running, though, there's a problem with this pawn over here. So, but he sees this impending g4, g5 nonsense coming, and break in with knight s6 check or do something on this pawn. I said, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just play bishop c1. I said, well, why play bishop c1 now and leave my rook languishing in the corner? Let's go ahead with a touch of class here, I decided. And this move just puts a nail in the coffin. This is classic overprotection from the school of Nimzovich. The e4 square is a very important square. Whereas my minor pieces are there, just putting a rook on that square overprotects the square. And in some cases, this rook gets up and over. And in fact, this rook really does a heck of a job.
I think you wanted to say something about the knight, you were saying?
Yeah, so maybe knight can take the pawn on f6.
Yeah, the sacrifice is in the air.
Right.
I have to be careful when I do it. Because when I sacrifice, and then it opens up this position for some defense. So everything has to be calculated. If I sacrifice the knight now, for instance, without analyzing, we don't have to analyze. If I sacrifice the knight now, look how far away my bishop is from the king. And the knight's gone. And the knight's field. This is very high-class defense, by the way, although it's a little comical. He's running, but we'll see how far he gets. Now, instead of the knee-jerk bishop c1 move, I said, hey, wait, this guy's smart. He's trying to get out of the field. I said, I'll send something a little heavier than a bishop. And I lift the rook. Because by putting the rook on g3, I can stop the king's running. The king is needed to defend that. And who knows, I might sacrifice a rook. That's right. Anything to take the clothes off that king. So, rook e3 now is a very powerful move. And he went ahead with king e8. His plan is revealed. Smart guy, huh? So with rook g3, he has bishop f8. And the king side comes together.
Yeah.
He stitches it together. And then the king can continue on its long-winded run. So I said, hey, this guy is smart. Okay. Like the rook e3, king e8. I just waited. Bishop c1. I'm like, go ahead. Put your bishop back on f8 if you want. First of all, I'm not attacking the g-pawn. And there are probably many, many variations where you'd have to analyze this pawn breaking forward to deflect the bishop, even if it came to that kind of situation. If I were here. So to break the blockade, to break the blockade right now without provocation is unnecessary. I repeat, to break the blockade right now without provocation is unnecessary. So, bishop c1, and this is when he played queen a5. A desperate looking move. It is desperate. He's hitting my a pawn. But, let's be honest, he's really making room for that king. He hasn't given up his idea. 3 or 4 more moves, he might get out of this mess. And the queen was impeding the king's egress. Telegraph. Oh, it's for the newspaper, the London Telegraph. The arts. It says, I'll read the whole thing, it's not long. The world champion, Vladimir Kramnik, can make $1 million as he plays Emery Tate. No. As he takes on the chess playing program Deep Fritz for a second time in a 6-game match to be held from November 25th to December 5th at the German National Art and Exhibition Hall in Bonn. Kramnik's start money will be $500,000, and a match victory will double that. Deep Fritz is billed as the world's strongest chess program, and Kramnik battled to a draw in a match in Bahrain in 2002. Your correspondent, that's Malcolm Payne. Your correspondent was technical director for the first half of that match, and the feeling was then that Kramnik should have won. He was 3-1 ahead, but tired in the second half. However, since then, Kramnik has had health problems struck the phase. I don't know that d6 has the same impetus. So, this is the end now, after bishop takes h6. But that d6 and queen sack line is very artistic. Although the computer doesn't know it's artistic. We humans can't appreciate it. Bishop takes h6, x clamp. And he says also the queen sack thing. That's if he took on a2 though. Would he really take on a2? It's no. But after this, he's compelled to take action. And now check. And I put his king in a horrible discovery. Boom. And by the way, his flight is cut short. They just canceled the last flight out of town. he was trying to get to C7, the magic square, to get to the safe haven. But the knight prevents that. And he has to stay out here like the rest of us stranded passengers. And he lives right there into Discovery. Told you. You never knew. So, but on 94 check, as I said, he can just go back to E8 instead of trying to run. And then to press ahead with the attack, I have to repeat the position. Check here. So this phase of the game is by no means easy. And this is one of my longest calculations of the game just before I sacrificed. And I found knight G4 check. Not merely winning the center pawn, but refocusing the knight's energy on E5 now. So when he goes here, knight E5 check's going to hit that other loose minor piece. After knight G4 check, if king F6, stepping into the fire,
You can't by the queen.
excuse me, king dog 6. If king D6, trying to hold that pawn the old-fashioned way, I had prepared, and now I guess Fritz confirms, queen F4 check. King has only one square. And now, more drama. Pop. And the F file comes open. Everybody plays. And when he takes that, pawn takes check. And mate's on the way. So it's rook G6 check, bishop takes G6. Takes back here, check. Where does it go? He goes to D7. If he goes to G7, I check here and then mate here with the pawn. Just protecting that. If he goes here, looks like pretty simple to just go queen here check and let the rook invade on F7 next. That should do it. You can golf the knight, that's made on the spot. Like in the last game we just showed that brilliant tactical game. Instead of playing rook to C2 and winning and letting the guy cough it up like that, well, from an aesthetic point of view now, queen E1 takes away all of his toys. He's going to lose his queen. She's got to be traded on the spot. And without a queen to resist, and with further simplifications coming down the E file, and finally, it's an echo variation that my queen is now on the second time in the game on E1. And that's an unusual square for the queen. So queen E1, and now back queen E1. It's a crowning move. And the game was over after queen takes queen. Takes queen. And the rooks stand firm. 3 extra pawns. He traded. Then he saw the power of the rooks. Oh, the rook's trapped. He can't go anywhere. The knight has him held hostage, so after rook takes.
The rook's quiet strength. In the opening and middle game, the rook waits. It stands in the background as the knights and bishops dance across the board, as pawns march forward, and as the queen asserts her dominance. But as pieces are exchanged and the game progresses, the board opens and the rook rises. This arc, from stillness to dominance, reminds us of the value of patience. The rook doesn't rush to show its strength because it knows that timing is everything. It waits for the moment when its power can be unleashed to its full potential. In this way, the rook reflects life's lessons. Sometimes the quietest and most reserved among us are those who have the greatest impact when the time is right. The rook's place in the chess hierarchy. While the queen often steals the spotlight and the knights and bishops showcase their unique flair, the rook remains a cornerstone of strategy. Without the rooks, endgames crumble. Without their control, the board becomes chaotic. The rook is a builder and a finisher, a piece that turns potential into victory. In chess, as in life, there are stars and there are foundations. The rook may not have the glamour of the queen or the creativity of the knight, but it is the piece that bridges the gap between ambition and achievement. It is the steady hand that shapes chaos into structure. A story of a rook's patience. Let us pause for a tale, a fable of a rook that waited in the shadows. In a quiet corner of a great chessboard, this rook stood for many moves, watching as the pawns battled bravely and the queen swept through the ranks. It longed to act, but its path was blocked, and its chance seemed distant. But the board shifted, a bishop fell, a knight stumbled, an open file appeared, and the rook seized its moment. It charged forward, cutting through the heart of the enemy's position, capturing pawns, and pinning the enemy king against the wall. The rook, once dismissed as dormant, became the hero of the game. The lesson? Even in stillness, there is preparation. Even in waiting, there is potential. The rook's patience was not passive, it was purposeful. The rook's role in strategy. Imagine a great battlefield where the lines have blurred, the strongholds are weak, and chaos reigns supreme. Amid this turmoil, a lone rook advances, planting itself firmly on the 7th rank, the lifeblood of the enemy's forces. Here, it becomes a symbol of power, cutting off supply chains and threatening an onslaught. In chess, the 7th rank is often where the opponent's pawns, fragile but critical, rest. A rookin of this rank attacks these pawns, controls movement, and traps the opposing king in a cage. The rook's dominance here is not just tactical, it is psychological. It forces the opponent into reactive moves, bending their strategy to its will. A story of the 7th rank. In a decisive championship game, two titans faced off. The position was complex, with equal material on both sides, but one player had a slight edge, a rook poised to infiltrate the 7th rank. The player hesitated. Was it too soon to strike? Was there danger in advancing? With bold confidence, the rook was moved to the 7th rank. Instantly, the balance shifted. The opponent's pawns fell like dominoes, and the rook transformed into an unstoppable force, paving the way for victory. The lesson? Sometimes bold moves are necessary to seize control, both in chess and in life. The power of two, rook pairs and synergy. The lone rook is powerful, but two rooks working together, they are a force of nature. Positioned on the same rank or file, they control vast swathes of the board, creating impenetrable barriers and launching devastating attacks. Their synergy is unmatched. Consider the classic rook roller, where two rooks coordinate to deliver a checkmate. In this maneuver, one rook gives a series of checks, while the other cuts off the opponent's king's escape routes. The effect is mechanical yet elegant, a perfect illustration of teamwork. This dynamic between two rooks mirrors the importance of collaboration in life. Alone, we can achieve much, but together, we are capable of extraordinary feats. The Rook Pair teaches us that true power lies not in isolation, but in unity. The Endgame Master, the Rook's moment to shine. As the game transitions to the endgame, the Rook emerges as the King's most reliable ally. With fewer pieces on the board, the Rook's ability to move freely across ranks and files becomes invaluable. It escorts pawns to promotion, checks the opposing king, and often delivers the final blow. Endgame strategies involving the Rook are numerous. One of the most famous is the Lucina position, a textbook example of how a rook and a pawn can force a win against a lone king and rook. In this setup, the rook creates a bridge to shield the king and ensure the pawn's promotion. This technique showcases the rook's versatility and precision in critical moments. A tale of the endgame. In a small-town chess tournament, a young player faced a veteran in the final round. The position was precarious, a single pawn and rook each on the board. The crowd watched as the young player maneuvered the pieces, slowly constructing a Lucina position. With quiet determination, the rook delivered the final checkmate, earning the player their first victory. The rook's role in this story is a reminder that perseverance and understanding the fundamentals often lead to triumph, even against overwhelming odds. Strategic themes: learning from the rook. Control of open files. The rook thrives on open files, using its long-range vision to dominate the board. It teaches us the importance of clarity. seeing the big picture and identifying open opportunities. King safety. Rooks are often critical in defending the king, either by forming a fortress or by actively counter-attacking. Their duality as both attackers and defenders mirrors the balance we must strike between offense and defense in life. Pawn promotion. The rook's ability to shepherd pawns to promotion highlights the value of nurturing potential and seeing projects through to completion. The balance of patience and aggression. The rook's strategic use requires a delicate balance of patience and aggression. Move it too soon, and it may be out of position. Hold it back too long, and its potential goes unrealized. This balance reflects the challenges we face in decision-making. The book teaches us to wait for the right moment and then strike with precision and purpose. Chapter 3. The Psychology of the Rook. Power and intimidation. The rook's aura. The rook exudes a silent authority. It doesn't leap flamboyantly like a knight or wield the sweeping dominance of a queen. Instead, it projects power through its presence. When a rook stands on an open file or occupies a commanding rank, it becomes a constant threat, a weapon waiting to strike. This aura of power can have profound psychological effects on opponents. They must constantly account for the rook's reach, even if it hasn't moved in several turns. Its ability to traverse the entire length of the board means that no square is truly safe. The rook forces opponents into cautious play, sowing seeds of hesitation and uncertainty. A story of intimidation. In a tense championship match, the board was evenly balanced. A single rook positioned on an open file seemed harmless, just another piece waiting for its turn. But as the game unfolded, its power became evident. The opponent avoided that file, steering their pieces away from the rook's influence. This psychological avoidance limited their options, leading to a gradual but inevitable defeat. The rook hadn't made a single capture, yet its presence alone dictated the course of the game. This story reminds us that power doesn't always need to be wielded to be effective. Sometimes it's enough to let others know it's there. Patience and timing. The rook's hidden potential. The rook is often a late bloomer, emerging as a key player in the endgame. Its delayed prominence teaches a lesson in patience. The rook's potential isn't fully realized in the crowded early stages of the game, but as the board clears, it becomes a commanding force. This quality mirrors life's challenges. Not every opportunity comes immediately. Like the rook, we must wait for the right moment, preparing ourselves in the background while others take the stage. When the time comes, those who have cultivated patience and readiness can seize their opportunity with decisive action. A tale of patience. A young player faced a seasoned opponent in a friendly match. The veteran had an aggressive style, launching a flurry of early attacks. The young player's rook sat quietly in the corner, biding its time. Move by move, the opponent's attack fizzled, and the board began to open. At last, the rook came alive, charging down an open file to deliver a crushing blow. The lesson? Life rewards those who prepare in silence, waiting for the chaos to subside before making their move. Vulnerabilities. The rook's blind spots. Despite its power, the rook is not without weaknesses. Its reliance on open lines and clear paths makes it vulnerable to blockades and traps. A poorly placed rook can become a liability, reduced to passively guarding pawns or defending against threats. This vulnerability highlights an important psychological concept: overconfidence. The rook's long-range power can tempt players into overextending, leaving it exposed to counterattacks. Recognizing the rook's limits and working within them is essential for success. In life too, overconfidence can lead to blind spots. Like the rook, we must balance ambition with awareness, ensuring that our strengths are not turned into weaknesses. The rook's role in shaping opponent psychology. Great players use the rook not just as a weapon, but as a tool for manipulating their opponents' minds. By positioning a rook on a key file or rank, they create dilemmas, forcing the opponent to choose between bad and worse options. This psychological warfare is a reminder that power is as much about perception as reality. A rook that appears poised to strike may never move, yet its presence alone shapes the flow of the game. In life, the way we project ourselves, our confidence, our capabilities, can influence how others perceive and respond to us. Lessons from the Psychology of the Rook. Projecting power. Sometimes, the mere suggestion of action is enough to create an advantage. The book teaches us to use presence effectively. Patience pays off. Waiting for the right moment is not a sign of weakness. It's a mark of wisdom. The rook's effectiveness grows with time and opportunity. Awareness of limits. Even the most powerful tools have vulnerabilities. Recognizing and addressing these is key to maintaining strength. A philosophical reflection. The rook's psychological impact extends beyond the chessboard. It represents the duality of power, the ability to act decisively, and the wisdom to hold back. It embodies the balance of aggression and restraint, teaching us that true strength lies in knowing when to wait and when to strike. The rook is a mirror of the human condition. It reminds us that we are most powerful when we understand our strengths, respect our limitations, and act with purpose. The rook as a life lesson. Guardianship and Duty. The rook as protector. The rook is a sentinel, a piece whose fundamental role includes guarding the king and fortifying the position. In the early stages of the game, the rook often remains tucked away, its movements restricted by pawns and other pieces. Yet this stillness is not inactivity, it is vigilance. The rook's responsibility mirrors that of a guardian in life, protecting what matters most, even when the effort goes unnoticed. The rook's role in castling, a move that shields the king and mobilizes the rook, symbolizes the balance between safeguarding and preparing for future action. It teaches us that strength lies not only in striking, but also in standing firm against threats. A tale of guardianship. Picture a stormy battlefield. The enemy forces are closing in and the king stands vulnerable. The rook, silent until now, slides into position, forming an unbreakable barrier. Through its steadfast defense, the rook saves the king and secures victory. This tale reflects life's moments when we must step up, not for glory, but out of duty. Whether protecting loved ones, upholding principles, or guarding one's well-being, the rook reminds us that guardianship is an act of quiet strength. The power of unity, teamwork, and collaboration. In chess, the rook rarely acts alone. Its most potent moments often come when it collaborates with other pieces, particularly another rook. Together, they create unassailable structures, support advancing pawns, and deliver devastating attacks. This synergy highlights the value of teamwork. The book teaches us that unity amplifies strength. Just as two rooks coordinate to dominate the board, people achieve extraordinary outcomes through collaboration. The lesson extends beyond the chessboard. Success in relationships, careers, and communities often hinges on our ability to work with others, leveraging individual strengths for collective gain. Freedom and boundaries, a balance of movement. The rook's ability to traverse ranks and files freely symbolizes the power of movement. It moves without restriction, covering vast distances with a single stroke, yet its freedom comes with boundaries. It must stay within the board's grid, unable to step outside the framework of the game. This duality reflects a universal truth. Freedom thrives within structure. Without boundaries, freedom becomes chaos. The book teaches us to embrace discipline and structure as enablers of our potential. By working within defined limits, we can achieve clarity and purpose, turning constraints into opportunities. A story of freedom. A player once struggled with a cramped position, their rook hemmed in by pawns and pieces. Each turn, the rook seemed useless, unable to influence the game. Then, with a single pawn move, the board opened and the rook came alive. It swept across the ranks and files, transforming a losing position into a triumphant one. This story reminds us that even when we feel confined, opportunities for freedom and growth often await just beyond the horizon. Like the Rook, we must be ready to seize those opportunities when they arise. Lessons from the Rook for life. Embrace your role. Like the Rook, everyone has a role to play. Whether leading, supporting, or protecting, fulfilling that role with purpose is key to success. Find strength in unity. Collaboration amplifies individual efforts. The Rook's synergy with other pieces is a powerful metaphor for teamwork. Balance freedom and discipline. True freedom is not the absence of limits, but the ability to thrive within them. The Rook's Journey, a life metaphor. The Rook's journey mirrors the arc of personal growth. It begins in stillness, constrained by its surroundings, much like a person learning the basics of life. As the game progresses, the Rook finds its path, leveraging opportunities and making its presence known. Finally, in the endgame, the Rook becomes a leader, escorting pawns to promotion and delivering decisive blows. This progression teaches us that life is a series of phases, each with its challenges and rewards. The Rook reminds us that patience, preparation, and adaptability are the keys to navigating these phases. A philosophical reflection. The Rook is more than a chess piece. It is a symbol of human potential. Its movement, strategies, and interactions reflect the complexities of life, the need for structure, the power of collaboration, and the importance of timing. Through the Rook, we see ourselves as guardians, collaborators, and seekers of freedom. The legend of the immortal Rook. Chess history is filled with games that highlight the brilliance of individual pieces, but few are as awe-inspiring as the legendary Immortal Game, played between Adolf Anderssen and Lionel Kieseritzky in 1851. While this game is renowned for its bold sacrifices and brilliant finish, the Rooks played a quieter yet pivotal role, demonstrating the incredible power of coordination and strategic foresight. In the game, Anderssen sacrificed both his rooks to lure Kieseritzky's defenses into disarray. The loss of these mighty pieces seemed reckless, even desperate, to onlookers. But Anderssen's vision went beyond the immediate board. With his remaining pieces working in harmony, he delivered a stunning checkmate with a bishop and knight. This game, though not defined by the Rook's active dominance, showcased their willingness to serve the greater plan, a lesson in selflessness and long-term strategy. A modern masterpiece, Carlsons' Rook Endgame. In a 2018 World Chess Championship match, Magnus Carlsen faced Fabiano Caruana in a tense and grueling endgame. With only a rook and pawns left for each player, the game seemed destined for a draw. Yet Carlsen, known for his endgame mastery, used his rook with surgical precision. By methodically attacking Caruana's pawns while shielding his own, Carlsen turned an equal position into a winning one. His rook became a beacon of dominance, escorting his pawn to promotion and securing victory. This game highlights the rook's role as the ultimate endgame piece, capable of transforming even the smallest advantage into a decisive triumph. Fictional tale: the rook's perspective. Imagine a rook sitting in its corner at the start of a game, quietly observing the chaos of the opening moves. The pawns march forward, the knights leap into action, and the queen commands attention. The rook feels forgotten, and its potential is unrealized, but it waits, knowing its time will come. As the game unfolds, the rook sees an open file appear. With a single decisive move, it strides forward, claiming control. It attacks, defends, and finally delivers the checkmate that ends the game. I was patient, the rook reflects. I knew my strength, and I waited for my moment. This fictional perspective offers a glimpse into the rook's inner world, a world defined by quiet confidence and readiness. Tales from everyday life. The rook's lessons extend beyond the chessboard into our daily lives. Consider the story of a young entrepreneur who spent years refining their craft in the background, unnoticed by the world. While others sought immediate fame, this individual focused on building a strong foundation. When the moment arrived, they launched their venture, achieving success that seemed sudden but was years in the making. Like the rook, their quiet preparation led to a commanding presence. Or think of the teacher who spends decades shaping young minds. They may not receive the accolades of public figures, but their influence is profound and lasting. Like the rook, they are the steady force behind life's victories. The unsung heroes of chess. In countless games, the rook plays a supporting role, enabling other pieces to shine. It may not always deliver the final blow, but its contributions are essential. From shielding the king during castling to escorting pawns in the endgame, the rook is the glue that holds a strategy together. This selflessness is a reminder that not all heroes seek the spotlight. Some work quietly in the background, ensuring that the team succeeds. The rook embodies this spirit of quiet heroism, teaching us to value the contributions of those who go unnoticed. Conclusion: the rook's wisdom. As we reach the end of this journey, the rook stands tall, its lessons clear and enduring. On the chessboard, it is a piece of unmatched power and precision. In life, it is a symbol of patience, collaboration, and resilience. Reflection on the rook's importance. The book teaches us to see the big picture. It reminds us that success often requires a balance of offense and defense, of waiting and striking, of working alone and with others. It challenges us to embrace our roles, knowing that every piece, every person, has a unique contribution to make. Let the rook inspire you. Whether you are a chess player seeking to improve your game or someone navigating the complexities of life, take a page from the rook's book. Be patient, but ready. Be powerful, but humble. Be collaborative, but know your strengths. The final story, A Rook's Journey. Picture a rook, carved from smooth wood, resting on a chessboard. It has been part of countless games, each one teaching it something new. It remembers the times it delivered checkmate, the times it defended the king, and even the times it was sacrificed for a greater cause. But the rook is not just a piece, it is a story of power and purpose, of quiet strength and decisive action. And as the rook gazes across the board, it knows this: every game is a chance to learn, to grow, and to leave a legacy.